Hi, I'm Jessica, and thanks for coming to my channel. My husband Brian and I are from southeastern Pennsylvania in the USA, and we now live in Spain. For me, it's my third time living in Spain and Brian's second time. This video will explain how we ended up in a pueblo in the center of Andalusia. I will also give you some things to consider if you're looking into a similar decision. Side note, I know this is only my third YouTube video, but I must say I'm a bit surprised at the lack of interaction I have. I look at similar channels as mine and see, the amount of followers that people have and interactions on their videos. So if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe if you're interested in Spain content, foreigners living abroad in Spain. But anyway, hopefully things pick up with my channel. As we explained in our two introductory videos, we recently purchased a house in Spain without a mortgage in a town in Andalusia called Rute. It's been 2 months so far. Everything is going well, and we still have zero regrets, and I hope we never do. Living rent-free and mortgage-free still feels surreal. I don't think many people in the US get to experience this in their life unless you're uber wealthy, which we're not. Um, Most people have never heard of Rute. I lived in Spain almost 6 years, all the while in Andalusia before I had ever heard of it. I had visited nearby Itnajar, but I don't remember seeing signs for Rute. They were there, being that it's only 15 minutes from uh, Itnajar and the famous reservoir lake here. Got some outside noise from the neighbors, sorry about that. Rute is almost right in the geographical center of Andalusia. It is just over an hour to Malaga and Córdoba, and 1 hour and 15 minutes from Granada. You might ask, why Rute? I don't blame you. I began to see a lot of extremely affordable real estate listings in inland Andalusia. Of course, everybody wants to live by the coast and or in a city, and sure, like why not? If we had lots of money or would have been able to get a mortgage, we would too. But we were looking to come back to Spain, to Andalusia, and have all the benefits we love about living in Spain, or at least most of them. We also were looking for some financial freedom. I wasn't working, so I had lots of time on my hands to look at these real estate listings that I was seeing on Facebook and look at them in depth. I was looking at homes with prices of anywhere between 20,000 euros and maybe up to 80,000 euros. Okay, I would often look at homes that cost more just for fun, but I knew realistically I didn't want to spend that much money. We needed something very affordable that was in a livable condition and didn't need any major renovations because we didn't have the budget for that. So in my time, I spent a lot of time researching using Google Maps. If I saw a house that I liked, I would look up the town on Google Maps. First question was always, how close is it to Malaga via car? Malaga City is where we used to live, and that is a place we really liked. So how close can we be to Malaga via car? Was there a train station in this town where the house is? I would zoom into the map and look at how many commercial establishments that exist in the town that I could see from the map. I specifically looked up places like Mercadona, Aldi, and Lidl to see if they existed in the town. For me, Mercadona was the most important as I find it to be the most complete grocery store out of the three. We have two cats, so I looked up vet clinics on the map. I also signed into our health insurance company's portal to see what types of medical facilities they have in the area or close by in their participating network. Another important thing I Googled for in each town was, what is the population of each town? Because that is something that definitely has an effect on the amenities and stores and grocery stores and things that are going to be in your town. For example, I don't think Mercadona is going to invest in building a grocery store in a town of only like 1,500 people. So in my triangulations, Rute is the pueblo with the best combination of proximity to Malaga, a sizable population for a pueblo, affordable housing, and Mercadona. Of course, there are pueblos that are closer to Malaga City, but maybe they have fewer people or they lack the fantastic house prices. I couldn't imagine us living in a town of only 1,000 or fewer people. I mean, I would possibly do it, but there would have to be some serious trade-offs, such as maybe only 15 minutes from the beach and having affordable house prices. But this truly doesn't exist anywhere in the Malaga province. I found that all the towns and villages that are within the Malaga province come with this designer label in that they are in Malaga. And Rute, where we live, lies within the Córdoba province at the very south end of the province. And I think that plays a big factor in the prices here. It doesn't have the flashy designer label of Malaga and Malaga province. So this town, Rute, has a population of 9,765 people as of 2024. Maybe now the addition of us makes 9,767. Of course, it's completely different than living in Malaga City, which has a population of almost 600,000 people in the city park. Of course, if you look at Malaga province as a whole, it's probably a million, maybe even two. I don't remember exactly. So Rute is a small town, but it doesn't feel like a ghost town to me. I've been to pueblos like that. There's a nice bustle here. They have a lot of festivities and celebrations throughout the year. I was able to find some Facebook groups local to the area. So I joined and asked some questions about this area. And because of that, I had connected with someone from Ireland who had a house he wanted to sell. I was also able to make a connection with a girl who lives in Rute full time and offered to meet with me if and when I visited. So that's what I did. I made my first visit to Rute in March of 2025. I stayed 3 nights in the Pueblo in an Airbnb. I wanted to get a feel for the place and also see some houses. I couldn't imagine buying something sight unseen in a town that I had never been to. So during my mission to Rute to check out the houses, house hunt, check out the town, I had the complete trust of my husband. If I really liked something and felt good about it, then he would too. He trusts my judgment implicitly and knows that I have, pretty discriminating standards. So I had lined up an appointment to see the house that was being advertised by its owner via his Spanish neighbor who lives here year round, plus another 9 houses with 2 different real estate agencies. While I'm on this topic of real estate agencies, I want to make clear that being a realtor in Spain is not like being a realtor in the US. There's no certification or formal training here. Pretty much anyone can become a realtor pretty quickly. It's really a topic for another video, but in short, I'll say here that the US industry is highly regulated and standardized, whereas the real estate industry in Spain is loosely regulated and fragmented. So just be really careful. Luckily, we have not run into any problems with our house purchase and everything that related to it. Maybe we got lucky. Hopefully, there's not something bad coming down the way. But I have learned of some others that have not had such of a smooth process with their house. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, after seeing the 10 houses in Rute, the one where I was working with the owner directly was my favorite house. It was the only one that I could truly see and feel myself living in. They had done various important and helpful renovations to the house already. They had all the electric work redone. They converted a bedroom upstairs into a nice sized bathroom. They had renovated the half bathroom, also the interior terrace that's behind the kitchen. And the kitchen had also been somewhat renovated at some point with a nice countertop made of quartz and modern white cabinets. All of this for 55,000 euros. It's easy to get excited about some of the houses I saw online too, but visiting in person definitely brings more of an impact. Some houses felt just too rustic for me, and being that we don't really have a renovation budget, I just didn't feel they were the right houses. The only downside to the house that we bought is that it had horrific paint colors and textures, and they never redid the walls after doing the electric work. So we have awful colors plus large white swaths of plaster where they did a lot of electrical work, adding outlets, changing outlets, modernizing everything. Um, so with these bad walls, I figured that this is something that my husband and I could figure out how to redo and finish ourselves. Another thing was that the house didn't have any air conditioning, so we figured that into the cost of our plans. We like to joke and say that we moved to the Arizona of Spain. So it does get very hot here in the summertime. Luckily, it's a dry heat, not trying to make a joke, but it does make a difference when you don't have the humidity. Um, but it does get very hot, and you will want to have air conditioning if you come to Rute. So we initially purchased a portable air conditioning unit to use in our bedroom for sleeping to get us by until we got the multi-split unit installed. We just cannot sleep without air conditioning when it's so hot and stuffy in the room. And leaving the windows open and leaving the persianas up doesn't help either, because then you can't enjoy the benefits of a nice dark room that you get with the persianas closed. And persianas are one of my favorite things about Spanish houses. I love the darkness that they bring. So, I want to be able to close them for sleeping and sleep quality. Um, if you don't know what they are a rolling metal external shutter that you close and open from inside the house. And the majority of homes in Spain have them. In the summer here, it's consistently in the 90s Fahrenheit and sometimes even gets to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. A second floor bedroom like what we have becomes an oven. And I used to talk so much crap about those portable air conditioning units with the big thick hose, like on a dryer, like similar to a clothing dryer, where you have this big thick hose where you have to vent out the window. But that thing truly saved our lives while we waited about a month to have the real air conditioning installed. We bought the type that has one unit externally and controls two units inside. So we put one upstairs in the bedroom and one downstairs in the front room, which is the room I'm in right now. It's like my office will be also a guest room. So now the portable aircon unit can stay in Brian's office and he can stay cool as well in the summer. And we don't have to move it back and forth anymore between the bedroom and his office. I'll leave the process of buying a house for another video. So, what does Rute lack? We'll go here first. It doesn't really have what I consider a food scene. Sure, there are some restaurants and bars, but we have only eaten at two places so far, one of them being a kebab shop. Honestly, the menus at the places I've seen don't look too exciting sometimes. Rute is not generally a touristic place except for at Christmas time, they say. They're known for their nativity scene made out of chocolate. It's un Belén de chocolate. And they make a unique new one every year. So I've never seen it. I'll be looking forward to seeing that this Christmas. But in relation to like pueblos and things they have and sizes of places, for example, there's a well-known pueblo in the Malaga province called Frigiliana. It is beautiful. It's also very touristic. It has the label of being one of the pueblos más bonitos de España, which means the most beautiful villages in Spain. And they have a population of 3,400 people, so it's not even half the size of Rute. But because of tourism, the restaurants seem better there. They have cuter looking cafes, etc. Um, Rute doesn't have great public transportation options. There's no train station here. There are buses coming to Rute, but the frequency isn't so good. And there are also buses that tend to stop at so many pueblos along the way, and it takes longer. For example, the direct bus route to Malaga takes 3 hours and it has many stops. From what I understand, it's the only direct bus of the day that I know of and leaves around 6 in the morning. And you can drive to Malaga in 1/3 of the time, so 1 hour versus 3 hours. Other buses arrive and depart at different times, but you often have to make a connection. I was recently looking into the bus from Rute to Granada, and that one is a little bit more convenient. You could leave Rute about 9 in the morning, get to Granada about 2 hours later at 11, spend from like 11 till 6 in Granada, And then the bus from Granada back to Rute leaves around 6 at night, and then you're back in Rute by 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna try that someday just to go on like a little adventure. Um, but anyways, so yes, sometimes you have to make a connection. I mean, there are other times where you can go to Malaga, but you often have to take a bus from Rute to Loja, which is in the Granada province, and then Loja to Malaga, or go from Rute to Lucena, which is a little bit north of here, and then go to Malaga. But in reality, I'm glad these buses exist and are affordable. Even being a small town in Spain, the bus options are already better than in the US for traveling distances. We don't have any movie theater here in Rute. There are some small shops that sell clothing and shoes, but it's not a shopping destination, in my opinion. So, those are the downsides. It's none of them were a deal breaker for us. We see this as a great home base to have, to be close to so many things in Andalusia, to have that financial freedom. And we can get to Malaga in an hour, get to the beach in just over an hour. So, on a positive note, Rute offers the important needs for daily life, and this was key and more important than anything. Like I said before, we have Mercadona plus some other decent sized grocery stores and also some smaller grocery stores scattered throughout the town. There are beauty salons, barbershops, schools for all ages of children. Some pueblos in Spain, for example, don't have a high school, so students have to travel to one. Rute has a great public pool with a bar and a restaurant attached to it. They would have in the summertime paella on Thursdays for €8 a person. We did it once. It was a lot of fun. It was really nice. Um, there are several pharmacies in Rute, fruit and vegetable shops, butchers, stores selling pet products, a couple of veterinarians, public health center if you are in the public system. We are unable to use the public health center in general because we are in the private system, but I think if we had an emergency, they could help stabilize us and it wouldn't cost us a fortune like it does in the US. Otherwise, we have to go to Lucena, which is about 25-30 minutes away. And in Lucena, they have some private medical centers where they accept our insurance. There's in Rute, there's hardware and plumbing stores, electrical and appliance shops, some bakeries and cafes, several well-known Spanish banks as well. There's BBVA, Santander, Unicaja. I think there's even another one or two, and I just can't remember what the names are. Um, it's easy to receive deliveries here for online purchases, either to your house, or there are a couple stores that have delivery points and also return points. So here in this town, the mailman or mailwoman delivers the mail to your house. I had heard some pueblos don't have that service and they have to go and pick up their mail at like a designated place. Here in Rute, there's a couple of gas stations. I'm probably forgetting something, but my point is that they have the essentials. I'm definitely not trying to make Rute out to be something more than it is, but we do feel that for us, it's a really great place to have as a home base, like I was saying, here in Andalusia and for exploring the rest of Spain. And we knew ahead of time that we would buy a car here. We even had a car in Malaga when we lived there. It's great for when you want to take the day trips or the longer road trips. Before I forget, the people here are so kind and friendly, and this is definitely a bonus of Rute. We live on a quiet street, except for when someone is coming home with their car. And, our neighbors have accepted us como unos españoles más, is to say like just another one of them. Um, we are obvious foreigners, what Spaniards call guiris, but we take the time to engage the neighbors, and it helps that I speak Spanish pretty well. Um, we try to get to know them, and it definitely helps. At some point, we will give a little house tour, but we want to wait until we get all the smoothing of the walls and painting done. Um, this is the first video that I've recorded inside the house because now I'm in a room with white walls. We got rid of all the horrific paint colors and textures. This room is very blank. We still need to get decorations, so pardon the barrenness of this room. So if you are looking to buy an affordable house in a pueblo in Spain, or even to rent an affordable house in a pueblo in Spain, make sure to do your research first. Consider these things, like what is important to you? Is it nightlife, financial freedom, geography, expat community, just to name a few? How many people how many people live in the pueblo that you're considering? This will definitely affect the amenities that are available there for you. So that was points 1 and 2. Number 3, how important is public transportation to you, or are you willing to rent or purchase a car? Also, keep in mind that depending on what country you're from, you may or may not be able to just switch over your driver's license very easily. If you're from the US, like we are, you have to start from scratch and go to a driving school and get your driver's license, just like an 18-year-old Spanish person would. I still haven't done it, but luckily my husband did it back in 2022. So that's something to consider. Number 4, if you have children, what is the school situation like for their ages? Number 5, what is your budget? Can you afford a lot of renovation work, or must it be something move-in ready? How rustic are you willing to live? More often than not, an affordable pueblo house does need some level of work. Think about how modern you expect your house to be, like your appliances, your oven, your bathroom, etc. Number 6, how far away would be the nearest town or city with the things that you need and like to do that the pueblo lacks? For example, if train travel is important to you, where is the nearest train station? And number 7, what is your level of Spanish and how serious are you about learning the language? Because in a pueblo, you will be, it really is best to assume that they're not going to be able to speak English. But it's good. This is life in the real Spain. This is not life in touristic Spain. But in summary, Pueblo life offers tranquility, affordability, and authenticity, but it requires an adjustment in terms of convenience, pace of life, and sometimes comfort. It's ideal for those seeking community, tradition, and a slower rhythm, less so for people who need lots of amenities or fast-paced living. I hope you find this video helpful in some way, or in the least somewhat entertaining. If you want to discuss life in Spain and the possibility of a move to Spain, please feel free to get in contact with me. I'll leave my email address in the description below. Thanks again for watching my video, and I will see you soon.